Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Katanya. Today's video is going to be a quick clean with me video. I'm going to speed through my kitchen and get some dessert done. The sun is getting ready to go down here, so I'm just going ahead and getting this kitchen done so that I can have it completely clean. And I don't have to worry about it later on tonight, but I am going to go ahead and bake a very simple dessert at the end of this clean with me, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you are new here, please go ahead and hit that red subscription button, like and comment down below. Let's go ahead and get started with the video. So I always get asked this question all the time about why it is that I use Clorox in my dishwater. I've always used Clorox in my dishwater. It's just an extra step for me for helping sanitize my dishes and to make sure that I have washed away all the germs that I could possibly wash away. Sometimes I just fill up my sink first with a like a sink full of water, hot water, as hot as I can possibly get it, and I pour in at least 2 teaspoons of Clorox in it and let it sit for about 2 hours or so before I wash them. Like after dinner, we'll put them in there and we'll watch a movie or something like that. I let them sit in there during that time just to help. Or sometimes I just do like I'm doing here, where I'll pour it into my water and just have it in my dishwater as I'm cleaning my dishes. I just really love to do this. I don't know what it is about it. It just seems more right to me. Like accept it as like a must do every single time that I actually wash my dishes here. As you can see, I still have some of my fall decor up. I am going to be taking those down as well, so that I am completely clear to go to start decorating my kitchen for tomorrow. So I am going to be taking all of this down. My plan is to put a little small Christmas tree here, maybe a little bit of ornaments and a present or a gift or something of sort. I want it to be very minimal, but eye-catching and draws you into my kitchen area. So while I am washing these dishes, my oldest daughter is cleaning out the countertops for me, and my middle daughter is sweeping the floor and mopping for me so that I can have all of this taken care of and I can move on to making the dessert. Okay, so the dessert that we're going to be making tonight is called cherry dump cake. It is very simple. It's only 5 ingredients to make this very delicious, very simple dish. The 5 ingredients includes 1 box of yellow cake mix, 1 24-ounce can of cherry pie filling, 1 15-ounce can of crushed pineapples, 8 ounces of chopped walnuts, 1/2 cup of butter. Here, as you can see, I have chosen not to use the walnuts. My middle daughter has an allergy to walnuts, so I am choosing not to put those in there specifically for her. The recipe does not state for you to use sugar. It is highly recommended though, due to the pineapple being in it and making it a little bit sour. So you want to add a little bit of sugar. I put like 1.5 cups just to add some more flavor to it and to get the sweetness back in. You guys, I forgot to mention before that you do need to preheat your oven to 350 so that it can be nice and ready for you when it's time to bake. You're going to be baking this from 35 to 40 minutes or until it is crispy golden brown on top. Now I'm going to be going ahead and pouring the sugar just directly on top here and mixing it in very well. Be sure to taste it, do a taste test just to make sure that it is to your liking. I did not want it too sweet. Again, I just wanted it to be a nice little dessert that wasn't full of sugar because my girls absolutely love this, and you can get carried away with this dessert. It is just that good. Here you can see that I am adding just a bit of cornstarch here just to help thicken it up because I did not want it to be too soupy. The pineapples do have a little bit of juice in it. It can tend to water it down, and I did not want that. So I added four tablespoons of cornstarch to this just to help thicken it up while it's baking. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix all this together just to make sure I do not have any lumps from the sugar or the cornstarch. Once I do this, I am going to go ahead and put my butter into my pan and stick it into the oven so that it can melt. Once it melts, I'm going to pour half of it into the bowl to mix in, and I'm going to leave the rest into the bottom of the pan. While the butter is melting, I'm going to go ahead and pour out my cake mix into my mixing cup so that I can go ahead and be prepared to mix it together with the butter once it is out of the oven. I'm only going to use half of the cake mix. I'm not going to use it all. I can use the other half when I want to make another dish of this, or if I need it for a particular different dessert. Alright, so right now I'm just making sure that the cake mix has no large lumps in it and getting it prepared for the butter once it comes out of the oven. Now this step here is also optional. I do like to add a little bit of old-fashioned oatmeal, just the regular plain oats right out of the container, into my cake mixture just to give it a little bit of extra crunch to the cake mix. I'm just going to go ahead and mix it in very well as well. Now that the butter has melted, I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little bit into my mixture and pour the rest into my cake mix so that I can go ahead and make the topping. I'm just going to go ahead and mix this thoroughly and make sure that I get the crumbles to develop. You can see what the crumbles are developing here. Just going through, there's no particular method to it. I'm just going back and forth until I can get the crumbles to form. Now I'm ready to pour my mixture into my pan. And once I get this into the oven, it's going to be in there for 15 minutes. Once those 15 minutes are up, I am going to bring it back out and spread the mixture over the top. And then I am going to place it back into the oven for another 15 minutes. And I'm going to let it stay in there until it is golden brown and crisp on top. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like after the first 15 minutes. You can see it's still bubbling around. It is fresh out of the oven. Now we're going to go ahead and place our crumbles on top and spread them evenly. Okay, so this step here is totally optional as well. As you can see, I am just simply using the spoon that I mixed it with to spread it out on top. You can put on some plastic gloves, some plastic kitchen gloves that you use to prepare other foods with. You can use those, or you can use a oh my goodness, little shaker thing. I can't think what the name of it is, but it is completely optional to you, whatever tool you choose to use to help you spread this on top. Be sure to get all up into the corners and everything to make sure that it is evenly covered and that every inch of it has the crumble on top. It comes out so much better this way. Here is the finished result. It looks so delicious. I cannot wait to dig in. I am going to allow this to sit at least 10 to 20 minutes so that it can settle before I dig in. It just looks so delicious. Absolutely, absolutely delicious. Mouth watering. I put a scoop of ice cream on top so that you can see what it looks like with the scoop of ice cream melting on top here. It is absolutely, oh my God, just look at it. Just look at this. Oh, that tastes so good, so good, so warm, and with the ice cream on top, you get the flavors of warm and cold mixing in together. This is so delicious, so good. I absolutely love making this each and every time. Very quick, doesn't take long at all, doesn't bake for very long. Very delicious.